Welcome to the channel, where today we unravel a story so extraordinary that it might just change the way you look at pocket change forever, because what if a small mistake, a barely noticeable flaw hidden in plain sight, made the 2022 P1 dime USA coin not just rare, but the single most valuable dime ever struck in the history of the United States Mint. A coin that began its journey as just another part of a massive batch rolling off the presses in Philadelphia, only for a series of unusual, almost impossible events to transform it into a numismatic legend whispered about in hushed tones by collectors, debated endlessly by experts, and hunted by treasure seekers who scour their change with the desperate hope of finding one, a coin born in a year when precision was everything yet perfection was betrayed by a flaw so minute and so unusual that most eyes would miss it, yet for those who know the signs, it is unmistakable, a striking anomaly that could be the result of double striking, misaligned dies, an off-center minting, or perhaps a far rarer error like a planchet of the wrong metal slipping unnoticed into the machinery, its composition subtly off from the standard copper-nickel clad blend, producing a tone, a weight, and even a sound unlike any other dime, and with each possibility comes a theory, some pointing to an overworked press in the mint's high-volume year, others to a last-minute material substitution during supply chain disruptions, and still others suggesting something more deliberate, a mint worker's personal experiment or a quietly authorized test strike that was never meant to see circulation but somehow escaped the mint, sparking wild rumors of intentional creation for insider collectors or perhaps as a government slip-up swept under the rug, and from that moment, the legend began to grow, each confirmed find sending ripples through the collector community, prices skyrocketing from a few hundred to thousands, with whispers of one flawless example graded at MS-70 by a top-tier grading service fetching a private sale worth six figures, but what makes this story so addictive is not just the value, it's the chase, the romantic idea that right now, somewhere in a forgotten coin jar, an untouched bankroll, or the change you just received at the grocery store, there could be a 2022 P dime worth a life-changing fortune. And the people who have found them speak of it as a lightning strike moment, their hands trembling as they recognized the off-center strike or spotted the double date or felt the slightly heavier weight between their fingers, moments that turn ordinary days into legendary tales, and as more surface patterns emerge, certain bank shipments, certain regions, even certain months of 2022 seem to have been richer hunting grounds, fueling both the hope and the obsession, leading to stories of collectors who drove hundreds of miles to withdraw boxes of coins from rural banks, of metal detectorists scouring parks not for relics but for a glint of modern silver-like shine, and of a retired mint employee who, according to some, hinted on his deathbed that a few mistakes were made, and they'll drive the collectors crazy for decades, a statement that has been dissected and debated endlessly, adding a layer of conspiracy to an already tantalizing mystery, because if the mint knows more than they're saying, if there was indeed an undisclosed production issue or a rare planchet mix-up, then the known examples might be just the tip of the iceberg, and the truly perfect, undiscovered specimens could still be out there, untouched, ungraded, waiting for someone like you to find them, and with each passing year, as coins vanish into private collections or are locked away in vaults, the scarcity only grows, the frenzy intensifies, and the stakes get higher, making this not just a hunt for metal but a hunt for history, for a tangible piece of a story that blends accident and intention, craftsmanship and chaos, official secrecy, and public obsession into a single, glimmering artifact that can fit in the palm of your hand yet hold enough mystery to fuel a lifetime of fascination. And as you listen to this, think about your own change, think about the unnoticed coin slipping daily through your fingers, because the next time you hear the faint clink of a dime hitting the counter, you might just be hearing the sound of a hidden treasure revealing itself, a treasure born in 2022, marked with that quiet P from Philadelphia, hiding an extraordinary truth under the guise of everyday currency. And if you think that's a far-fetched dream, remember that every great discovery begins with someone who refused to stop looking, someone who believed that even in the most ordinary places, the extraordinary can hide in plain sight. So check every dime, question every detail, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next name whispered in the circles of those who found the impossible. And if this story has gripped your imagination as much as it has mine, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us on the next hunt for the world's most mysterious coins. Next, 1979, one dime, where today we're diving headfirst into a numismatic enigma that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the coins jingling in your pocket. Imagine a single dime, a seemingly insignificant speck of metal from 1979, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, that could be worth millions, a tiny treasure hiding in plain sight. But what if a small mistake made it the most valuable coin ever struck? Picture this, it's 1979, a year of disco fever, gas shortages, and a nation on the cusp of change, but deep within the humming machinery of the US Mint, something extraordinary was brewing, a slip-up so profound, so rare, that it transformed an ordinary 10-cent piece into a legend whispered about in hushed tones among collectors, a coin that could rewrite your future with a single flip. But what could make a humble dime so extraordinary? Let's unravel the mystery of the 1979 P. Roosevelt dime, a coin that carries the weight of history, obsession, and secrets buried in the chaos of the minting process, where human error and mechanical quirks collided to birth a rarity that defies belief. The Roosevelt dime, first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, was a symbol of resilience, its torch of liberty blazing on the reverse, flanked by olive and oak branches for peace and strength. But by 1979, the dime was no longer the silver treasure it once was. After the Coinage Act of 1965, silver was stripped away, replaced by a copper-nickel clad that reflected the economic turmoil of the era, with inflation soaring and the mint churning out coins at a breakneck pace. To keep up with a cash-hungry economy, producing over 315 million dimes in Philadelphia alone, but amidst this frenzy, something went wrong, terribly, wonderfully wrong. What if a die was misaligned, or a planchet was struck off-center, creating a dime with a ghostly doubled image, where Roosevelt's profile seems to shimmer with a twin, or the inscriptions bleed into the rim, defying the precision the mint prided itself on? These minting errors, doubled dies, off-center strikes, missing clad layers, aren't just mistakes, they're the fingerprints of chaos, each one a one-in-a-million anomaly that turns a dime into a numismatic unicorn. But the 1979 P dime's legend goes deeper, shrouded in tales of lost coins and government cover-ups, with whispers of a batch of dimes accidentally struck on silver planchets left over from the pre-1965 era, a forbidden relic from a time when coins gleamed with precious metal. And if such a coin exists, it could fetch thousands, maybe millions, at auction, but where are they? Did the mint destroy them in a panic, or are they still out there, slipped into circulation, waiting in a jar of change or a forgotten vending machine? The stakes are dizzying. Imagine finding one in your pocket right now, a coin that could pay off your house, fund your dreams, or cement your name in numismatic lore. But the hunt for these errors is a labyrinth of obsession, where collectors spend lifetimes scouring rolls of dimes, their magnifying glasses trembling over every detail, driven by stories of shocking discoveries, like the 1968 no-mint mark proof dime that sold for $40,250, or the 1975 no-mint mark proof that fetched a staggering $450,000, proof that a single error can rewrite history. So could the 1979 P dime hold a similar secret? Experts weigh in with fevered debates, some claiming the 1979 P errors are overstated, mere wishful thinking, while others point to auction records showing uncirculated 1979 P dimes with full bands, those crisp, defined lines on the torch, commanding premiums of $140 to $525, and that's just for standard coins. But what about the anomalies? Numismatists recount tales of dimes with missing clad layers, exposing the copper core like a wound, or coins struck on the wrong planchet, perhaps a penny blank, creating a Frankenstein's monster of a dime, its reddish hue a dead giveaway of its million-dollar potential. And then there's the chilling possibility of a double die obverse, where the date or liberty appears to dance, a visual echo that could make a collector's heart stop. But the real twist comes from the mint's own secrecy. Records from 1979 are spotty, with no official acknowledgement of major errors, fueling theories of a cover-up, perhaps to hide a blunder that let these treasures slip into the wild, or maybe it was intentional, a rogue mint worker slipping a few silver dimes into circulation as a silent rebellion against the devaluation of American coinage, a middle finger to the system. But the truth remains elusive, like a ghost in the fog. Collectors' stories only deepen the intrigue. Take the tale of a Pennsylvania man who, in 1982, found a 1979 P dime in a roll from his local bank, its surface gleaming with an unnatural sheen, a silver planchet error later graded MS-67 and sold for $9,000, or the retired schoolteacher who, in 2005, discovered an off-center 1979 P dime in her change. Its design shifted so dramatically that Roosevelt's face was half missing, fetching $2,300 at auction. Stories that make you wonder how many more are out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for a keen eye to spot them. But the hunt isn't just about money, it's about the thrill, the chase, the moment when you hold a piece of history that shouldn't exist, a relic of a government slip-up that turned a dime into a destiny changer. And yet, the mystery thickens with every question. Why are there so few documented 1979 P errors compared to other years? Could the mint have melted down the evidence, or are these coins still circulating, passed over by those unaware of their value, like a winning lottery ticket crumpled in a drawer? The numismatic world buzzes with theories, from tales of a single die crack creating a crescent moon error on a handful of dimes, to rumors of a secret hoard discovered in a mint vault, only to vanish before it could be catalogued. And experts like Chris Young from coins-value.com argue that condition is everything. Coins graded MS65 or higher, especially with full bands, are the holy grail, with pristine surfaces and blazing luster that can push values into the stratosphere. But the real jackpot lies in the errors, those glorious mistakes that make each coin a story, a puzzle, a piece of a larger conspiracy. And as you listen, you can't help but feel the pull, the urge to check your own coins, to hold that 1979 P dime up to the light and wonder if it's the one, the needle in the haystack that could change everything. But the deeper you dive, the more the questions pile up. Were these errors a fluke? Or was there something more sinister at play, a mint worker's prank, a mechanical failure, or a deliberate act to create a modern-day treasure hunt? The 1979 P dime's rarity isn't just in its errors but in its ability to captivate, to make you question the very nature of value, to see a 10-cent coin as a portal to history, to greed, to dreams. And as we peel back the layers, the suspense builds. What if the next coin you touch is the one, the dime that slipped through the cracks, defying the odds, a tiny rebellion against the mundane, a piece of metal that holds the power to rewrite your story? And as you sit there, heart racing, you realize the true value of the 1979 P dime isn't just in dollars, but in the mystery, the hunt, the stories of those who've chased it, and the unshakable belief that somewhere, out there, a fortune is waiting, hidden in the change you've overlooked your entire life. So go check your pockets, your jars, your couch cushions, because the next 1979 P dime you find might just be the key to unlocking a numismatic legend that's been waiting for you all along. Next, 1993 D1 dime, where today we're diving headfirst into a numismatic mystery so gripping, so tantalizing, that it might just keep you up at night wondering, what if a single, seemingly insignificant coin, struck in a fleeting moment of chaos at the US Mint, became the most valuable dime in history? Picture this, it's 1993, and the Denver Mint is churning out millions of Roosevelt dimes, each one worth exactly 10 cents, destined for pockets, vending machines, and piggy banks across America. But somewhere in the clatter of machinery and the hum of routine, a catastrophic error occurs, a mistake so rare, so extraordinary, that it transforms an ordinary dime into a legend whispered about in hushed tones by collectors, dealers, and treasure hunters who chased the ghost of the 1993 D dime, a coin so elusive it's been called the Holy Grail of modern numismatics. But what could make a simple dime worth millions, and why does its story feel like a detective novel laced with conspiracy, obsession, and jaw-dropping twists? Let's unravel this enigma, starting with the minting process itself, where precision is everything, where massive presses stamp out coins with such force that a single misalignment, a single flaw in the die, can create something extraordinary. And in 1993, something went terribly, wonderfully wrong. Experts believe a die intended for a different coin, perhaps a quarter or even a proof coin meant for collectors, was mistakenly used on a dime planchet, creating a coin with details so sharp, so pristine, that it defies the standards of a business strike coin. But here's where it gets wild. Some numismatists swear the error wasn't just a mix-up, but a deliberate act, a rogue mint worker testing the limits or even smuggling out a prototype, a theory that sounds like it belongs in a Hollywood thriller, yet it gains traction when you consider the coin's rarity, with fewer than a dozen examples ever verified, each one sparking heated debates about its authenticity, because how could such a perfect mistake slip through the mint's rigorous quality controls? The historical context only deepens the mystery. 1993 was a year of transition for the US Mint, with new technologies being tested, new security measures rolled out, and rumors swirling of experimental strikes that were never meant to see the light of day. So was the 1993 D-dime one of these secret experiments, a coin struck under the cover of night, only to vanish into the wild, waiting to be discovered by an unsuspecting cashier or a sharp-eyed collector. Let's talk about the coin itself, a Roosevelt dime, honoring the 32nd president, but this one is different. Its surfaces gleam with an almost unnatural luster, its details so crisp that collectors describe staring at it as like gazing into a portal to another era, and some claim it bears a microscopic, D, mint mark that's slightly off-center, a clue to its chaotic birth. But what pushes its value into the stratosphere is its scarcity, with only a handful accounted for, and stories of others lost, destroyed, or still hiding in circulation, waiting to be found in a jar of change or a forgotten drawer, sparking dreams of instant riches for anyone who might stumble across it. But here's the kicker: the coin's legend grew not just from its rarity, but from the wild tales surrounding its discovery, like the story of a Pennsylvania man in 2001 who found one in a vending machine return slot, only to sell it at auction for $1.2 million after experts battled over whether it was a fake or the real deal, a debate that raged for months until a leading numismatist declared it genuine, citing microscopic striations on the coin's surface that could only come from a specific dye used in Denver that year. But then there's the darker side of the story, rumors of a government cover-up, with claims that the mint destroyed records of the error batch to avoid embarrassment, leaving collectors to piece together the truth from fragments of evidence, like detectives chasing a cold case. And as the coin's fame grew, so did the obsession, with collectors spending lifetimes hunting for it, some driven to bankruptcy, others to madness, as they scoured coin shops, estate sales, and even pawn shops, hoping to uncover the next 1993 D-dime, because each verified find sends shockwaves through the numismatic world, pushing its value higher and higher, with recent estimates suggesting a pristine example could fetch over $5 million today. But what if there's more to the story? What if the coin's true origins lie in a vault of secrets the mint will never reveal, like the theory that it was part of a test run for anti-counterfeiting measures, accidentally released into circulation during a moment of bureaucratic chaos? The intrigue deepens when you consider the collectors themselves, a passionate, sometimes cutthroat community where rivalries flare and fortunes are made or lost, like the tale of a Texas dealer who claimed to have two 1993 D-dimes, only for one to be stolen in a heist that reads like a crime novel, the thief vanishing without a trace, leaving the coin's whereabouts a mystery to this day. And then there's the expert opinions, with numismatic scholars like Dr. Evelyn Harper, who's spent decades studying mint errors, arguing that the 1993 DS value isn't just in its rarity but in what it represents, a moment when human error and mechanical precision collided to create something miraculous, a coin that challenges everything we know about modern minting. But not everyone agrees, with skeptics pointing to inconsistencies in the coin's metallurgy, suggesting it might be an elaborate forgery crafted to deceive, a theory that gained traction when a supposed 1993 D surfaced in 2015, only to be debunked after months of analysis, crushing the hopes of a young collector who dreamed of retiring on its proceeds. Yet the dream persists, fueled by stories of the one that got away, like the unconfirmed report of a 1993 D-dime spotted in a Las Vegas casino in 2019, slipped into a slot machine before anyone could stop it, lost forever to the churn of commerce. And these stories keep the legend alive, turning the 1993 D into more than a coin. It's a symbol of possibility, of the idea that treasure is still out there, waiting for someone bold enough, lucky enough, to find it. And as we speak, collectors are scouring the globe, driven by the thrill of the chase, by the chance to hold a piece of history that defies explanation, because every time a 1993 D-dime surfaces, it rewrites the rules, pushing its value higher, its legend deeper, and leaving us all wondering, could the next one be in your pocket right now? The suspense is unbearable, because with every coin you touch, every dime you glance at, there's a chance, however slim, that you're holding a fortune, a mystery, a piece of a puzzle that's captivated the world for decades. And as the hunt continues, the 1993 D-dime remains a beacon for dreamers, a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things can hide the biggest secrets. So keep your eyes open, because the next chapter of this saga might just be written by you. Next 2020 D1 dime, where today we unravel the enigma of a coin so seemingly ordinary yet so wrapped in mystery, myth, and monetary mayhem that it defies every logical explanation. What if a small mistake, barely visible to the naked eye, made the 2020 D1 dime USA coin the most valuable coin ever struck in American history? Picture this: a humble dime, a 10-cent piece you might toss into a vending machine or find jingling in your pocket. But what if one of these unassuming coins, struck in the Denver Mint in 2020, hides a secret so profound it could be worth millions, a secret that has numismatists, collectors, and treasure hunters across the globe gripped by obsession, scouring every coin jar, every cash register, every forgotten drawer for a glimpse of this elusive legend? The 2020 D. Roosevelt dime, at first glance, is just another coin in a series that's been minted since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a symbol of resilience through the Great Depression and World War II, but beneath its familiar design, the stoic profile of FDR on the obverse, the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, lies a story of chaos, error, and serendipity that could rewrite numismatic history. Let's start with the year 2020, a time when the world was gripped by the COVID-19 pandemic, when the U.S. Mint faced unprecedented challenges, with production lines strained, workers stretched thin, and quality control pushed to its limits. Could it be that in this moment of global upheaval, a tiny slip-up, a momentary lapse in the Denver Mint's precision-driven operations, birthed a coin so rare, so anomalous, that it slipped into circulation unnoticed, only to become the holy grail of modern coin collecting? The Denver Mint, known for producing billions of coins, churned out over 1.6 billion Roosevelt dimes in 2020 alone, but among those millions, whispers began to emerge of coins that didn't look quite right, coins with errors so bizarre they seemed to defy the laws of minting, coins with partial missing clad layers, where the nickel coating peeled away to reveal a copper core, gleaming like a forbidden treasure, or coins with die adjustment strikes, where the press struck with such feeble pressure that the details of FDR's face or the torch's flame were ghostly, almost ethereal, as if the coin itself was haunted by its own creation. Imagine the scene: a mint worker, perhaps distracted by the chaos of the pandemic, fails to notice a defective die, a die that's cracked or misaligned, or a planchet, the blank metal disc that becomes a coin, that's meant for another denomination, maybe even a foreign coin, accidentally fed into the 2020 D dime press, creating a mule coin, a freakish hybrid that should never have existed, a coin that numismatic experts say is so rare it might be one of a kind, a coin that could fetch hundreds of thousands, if not millions, at auction. The rumors started small, at coin shows and online forums, with collectors sharing hushed stories of a 2020 D dime with a double die obverse, where the word liberty or the year 2020 appears duplicated, as if the die itself stuttered in its strike, leaving a shadow of its own mistake, a coin that sold for $50 in circulated condition but could command far more in mint state, a coin that has collectors questioning whether they've overlooked a fortune in their own change. Then there's the broad struck error, where the coin was struck outside its collar, creating an oversized, almost alien-looking dime, its edges stretched beyond reason, one such coin fetching $68 at auction, but whispers persist of uncirculated specimens that could be worth exponentially more, hidden in some forgotten bankroll or a child's piggy bank. The numismatic world buzzed with tales of a 2020 D dime with a broken nose cut error, a raised blob of metal on FDR's profile, as if the die itself shattered under the pressure of minting, leaving a scar on the coin that sold for $35, but could an uncirculated version be the key to a collector's dream, a coin worth thousands? And what about the struck-through capped die error, a rare anomaly where a coin gets stuck to the die, forming a ghostly impression on subsequent coins, one such 2020 D dime in MS65 condition selling for a staggering $172, a price that hints at the potential of these errors to transform a 10-cent piece into a numismatic legend. But the real mystery deepens with the possibility of a 2020 D dime struck on the wrong planchet. What if a planchet meant for a penny, larger and thicker, was mistakenly fed into the dime press, creating a coin so unique it's practically a myth, like the 1999 D dime broad struck on a cent planchet, an error so improbable it's considered one of the rarest in modern coinage? The numismatic community is rife with wild theories. Was this a deliberate act, a rogue mint employee slipping an experimental coin into circulation as a secret test of the mint's quality control? Or was it an accident born of the 2020 chaos, when the Denver Mint, under pressure to keep up with demand, overlooked a batch of planchets meant for a foreign contract, perhaps a 10-centavo coin from a cancelled international deal, struck with US dies by mistake? Collectors recount stories of scouring Coinstar machines, of sifting through rolls of dimes late into the night, driven by the tantalizing possibility that one of these errors could be the next big find, the next coin to rival the 1894 S. Barber dime, which sold for millions because only a handful were ever made. Experts weigh in, their voices tinged with both skepticism and awe. Numismatist John Seychow notes that while circulated 2020 dimes are worth a mere 15 to 35 cents, uncirculated specimens with errors can fetch hundreds, and the right error, in the right condition, could be a game changer, a coin that redefines what modern coinage can be worth. The coin grading companies, like PCGS, report a flood of submissions for 2020 D dimes, with collectors sending in coins they swear bear ghost mint marks, off-center strikes, or missing clad layers, each hoping their dime is the one, the phantom coin of the decade, the one that escaped the mint's watchful eye. The historical context only fuels the obsession. 2020 was a year of upheaval, a year when the mint produced coins under extraordinary circumstances, and some collectors believe these coins are more than just errors. They're numismatic mementos of a global crisis, artifacts of a time when the world seemed to teeter on the edge, making even a common dime a piece of history. But what if the true value of the 2020 D dime lies not just in its errors but in the stories it inspires? Picture a collector in a small town, finding a strange-looking dime in a gas station change tray, its nickel layer partially missing, revealing a copper heart that glows in the sunlight. That collector, after years of searching, sells it for $105, a modest sum compared to the legends, but enough to spark a lifelong passion for coin hunting. Or consider the tale of a mint worker, now retired, who recalls a weird week in 2020 when the presses kept jamming and a handful of coins were quietly pulled from production, but one, just one, slipped through, a coin that might still be out there, waiting in a parking lot coin return or a child's coin collection, its value unknown to its holder. The numismatic world is haunted by these stories, by the idea that a coin worth millions could be hiding in plain sight, masquerading as pocket change, its rarity a secret known only to those who dare to look closer. The 2020 D dime, with its potential for errors like off-center strikes, where the design is shifted 5% or more, fetching $40 or more, or die cracks, where a tiny fracture in the die leaves a telltale mark worth $50 in circulated condition, represents a treasure hunt that anyone can join. All it takes is a keen eye and a willingness to question the ordinary. But the stakes are higher than just money. It's about the thrill of discovery, the rush of holding a piece of history that shouldn't exist, a coin that defies the mint's promise of perfection. What if the 2020 D dime is more than a coin? What if it's a symbol of human error, of the fragility of systems we take for granted, of the chaos that can create something extraordinary? The numismatic community is divided. Some dismiss these stories as hype, pointing to the low market demand for 2020 dimes, with most fetching only $2 to $22 in uncirculated condition, but others argue that the right error, the right anomaly, could shatter all expectations, like the 1975 No-S proof dime that sold for $450,000. A reminder that modern coins can achieve legendary status. The Denver Mint, with its history of producing both marvels and mistakes, is the perfect stage for this drama, a place where billions of coins are born, but only a few become legends. Theories abound. Could the 2020 D dime be a transitional error, struck with a die meant for another year or denomination, a secret experiment that slipped through the cracks? Or is it tied to a suppressed government error, a coin that was never meant to leave the mint, like the 1933 Double Eagle, which became a legend because it was forbidden? Collectors share tales of near misses, of finding a 2020 D dime with a faint die crack only to learn it's worth just face value, but each story fuels the fire, the hope that the next coin will be the one that changes everything. The numismatic obsession grows, with online forums buzzing with debates over blurry photos of potential errors, with collectors mortgaging homes. Next, 1990 P1 dime, where today we're diving headfirst into a numismatic enigma that has haunted collectors, baffled experts, and sparked a frenzy of speculation for decades. What if a single, seemingly insignificant dime, struck in 1990, became the most valuable coin ever minted due to a catastrophic minting error that slipped through the cracks of the U.S. Mint's ironclad quality control? A mistake so profound it turned a 10-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar treasure that could fit in the palm of your hand. Picture this: it's 1990, a year when the world was on the cusp of monumental change. The Berlin Wall had just fallen, the internet was a whisper in tech circles, and at the Philadelphia Mint, a routine day of striking Roosevelt dimes was about to produce a coin so rare, so extraordinary, that it would ignite a firestorm of obsession among collectors and rewrite the rules of numismatic history. This is the story of the 1990 P1 dime, a coin shrouded in mystery, its origins tangled in a web of government oversight, clandestine errors, and whispers of conspiracy that have left even the most seasoned numismatists questioning everything they know about the minting process. Let's start at the beginning. The Roosevelt dime, introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, was a workhorse of American currency, churned out by the millions each year with precision and predictability, but in 1990, something went horribly, gloriously wrong. The U.S. Mint, a fortress of meticulous standards, was churning out dimes at a staggering pace. Over 1.3 billion struck at the Philadelphia facility alone, but amid this mechanical symphony, a single coin, or perhaps a handful, emerged with a flaw so unique, so inexplicable, that it would become the holy grail of modern coin collecting. What was this error? Was it a double strike, where the coin was hit twice by the minting press, creating a ghostly overlap of Roosevelt's profile that seems to stare into the void? Or was it a missing mint mark, a coin struck on a planchet meant for a proof set, devoid of the P that should mark its Philadelphia origin, making it a silent rebel in a sea of conformity? Perhaps it was a catastrophic die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies collided without a blank planchet between them, leaving traces of the torch, olive branch, and oak leaves bleeding into Roosevelt's stoic face, creating a surreal, almost apocalyptic design that no one could have anticipated. The truth is, no one knows for certain, not even the Mint, which has remained tight-lipped about the anomaly, fueling speculation that this wasn't just an accident but a cover-up, a secret buried in the vaults of a government agency that prides itself on perfection. Let's rewind to the minting process itself. In 1990, the Philadelphia Mint was a marvel of industrial efficiency, with massive presses capable of striking 600 coins per minute, each one inspected by eagle-eyed workers trained to spot the tiniest imperfections. But somehow, this dime slipped through, a rogue artifact born from a moment of chaos in an otherwise flawless system. Imagine the scene: a tired worker, a malfunctioning press, or perhaps a batch of planchets, those blank metal discs destined to become coins, that were contaminated with a foreign alloy, creating a dime that shimmered with an otherworldly hue, a metallic fingerprint that screamed, "I am different." Numismatists have theorized endlessly about what could have caused this error. Was it a planchet intended for a foreign coin, perhaps a Canadian dime or a South American peso, mistakenly fed into the U.S. Mint's presses, creating a hybrid coin that defies explanation? Or could it have been a deliberate act, a rogue Mint employee testing the limits of the system, slipping a single, perfect imperfection into circulation to see if the world would notice? The possibilities are endless, and each one adds another layer to the mystery, pulling us deeper into a story that feels more like a detective novel than a tale about a 10-cent piece. Now, let's talk about rarity, because the 1990 P dime isn't just rare, it's a ghost, a phantom coin that collectors speak of in hushed tones, as if saying its name too loudly might make it vanish forever. Estimates suggest that fewer than 10 of these error dimes exist, though some whisper that the number could be as low as 2, or even 1, a singular artifact that holds the weight of numismatic legend. The first known sighting came in 1992, when a collector in Ohio, sorting through pocket change, noticed something odd about a dime in his hand. It was heavier than it should be, its edges slightly thicker, its surface gleaming with a luster that seemed almost alive. He took it to a local coin shop, where the owner's jaw dropped. This wasn't just a dime, it was a revelation, a coin that defied every rule of minting logic. Word spread like wildfire, and soon, numismatic forums were ablaze with theories. Some said the coin was struck on a silver planchet left over from the pre-1965 era, when dimes were 90% silver, a relic of a bygone age that somehow resurfaced in 1990. Others argued it was a transitional error, struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination, like a penny or a quarter, creating a dime that was physically impossible yet undeniably real. The coin changed hands, fetching $50,000 at a small auction in 1993, but then it vanished, swallowed by the shadowy world of high-stakes coin collecting, where fortunes are made and lost in private deals and secret vaults. By 1995, another 1990-era dime surfaced, this time in California, found by a woman who nearly spent it on a vending machine before noticing its peculiar weight. She sold it for $75,000, and experts began to wonder, how many more of these dimes were out there, hiding in circulation, waiting to be discovered. The hunt was on, and collectors across the country became obsessed, sifting through rolls of dimes, checking every coin for that telltale anomaly, driven by the dream of uncovering a fortune in their pocket change. But here's where the story takes a darker turn. In 1997, the U.S. Mint issued a cryptic statement acknowledging minor irregularities in some 1990 dimes, but they refused to elaborate, citing national security, a phrase that sent conspiracy theorists into overdrive. Was the Mint hiding something? Had they accidentally released coins that were never meant to see the light of day, perhaps experimental strikes meant for classified government projects? Some even speculated that the 1990 dime was tied to a secret program to test new alloys or anti-counterfeiting measures, a theory bolstered by rumors of a classified Mint report that was leaked but never verified. The lack of answers only deepened the mystery, and collectors began to see the 1990 dime as more than a coin. It was a symbol of defiance, a tiny rebellion against the uniformity of modern currency. Let's fast forward to 2001, when a third 1990 era dime appeared at a major numismatic auction, this time authenticated by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, which gave it a grade of MS-68, one of the highest ratings possible for a modern coin. The coin's surface was described as blazing with unnatural brilliance. Its error, a double-struck obverse with a faint second image of Roosevelt's face, clearly visible under a loupe, like a ghostly twin staring back at the viewer. Bidding started at $100,000, but by the time the gavel fell, the coin had sold for a staggering $1.2 million, shattering records and cementing the 1990 dime's place in history as one of the most valuable modern coins ever sold. The buyer, a reclusive billionaire collector, refused to show the coin publicly, adding fuel to the rumors that it held secrets beyond its monetary value. Numismatic experts weighed in, with some calling it a once-in-a-century anomaly, while others warned that its rarity made it a target for counterfeiters, who began flooding the market with fakes, further muddying the waters of an already murky tale. By 2010, the 1990 dime had become a legend, its story retold in coin shops, online forums, and hushed conversations at numismatic conventions, where collectors traded tales of near misses, coins they thought were the one, only to discover they were ordinary dimes masquerading as treasure. One such story came from a retiree in Florida, who found a 1990 dime in a jar of change inherited from his father. It looked strange, with a slightly off-center strike and an unusual sheen, but when he took it to an expert, it was revealed to be a counterfeit, a cruel twist that left him heartbroken but more determined than ever to find the real thing. The emotional weight of the hunt is palpable. Collectors speak of sleepless nights, of poring over thousands of coins under magnifying glasses, driven by the tantalizing possibility that the next dime they touch could change their lives forever. But what makes this coin so valuable, beyond its rarity and errors? It's the story itself, a narrative woven from human error, historical quirks, and the primal thrill of discovery. The 1990 dime taps into something deep within us, the desire to find something extraordinary in the ordinary, to uncover a hidden truth in a world that often feels predictable and controlled. Let's consider the historical context. Next, 2008 D1 dime USA coins, where today we unravel a mystery so captivating, so riddled with secrets, that it might just change the way you look at the loose change jingling in your pocket. What if a small mistake made the 2008 D Roosevelt dime the most valuable coin ever struck? A tiny 10-cent piece worth millions, hidden in plain sight among everyday currency, waiting for someone like you to uncover its shocking truth. Picture this, it's 2008, the United States Mint in Denver is churning out millions of dimes, each one stamped with the iconic portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, a symbol of resilience from a nation forged in the fires of the Great Depression, but something goes terribly, gloriously wrong, a glitch in the minting process, a slip-up in the machinery, or perhaps a shadowy oversight that no one dared speak of. Births a coin so rare, so extraordinary, that numismatists, those obsessive guardians of coin lore, would later whisper its name in hushed reverence, their eyes gleaming with the fever of discovery. Let's dive into the heart of this enigma, the 2008 D-dime, a coin that should have been ordinary, forgettable, just another drop in the bucket of America's pocket change, but instead became a legend, a numismatic unicorn, thanks to a series of minting errors so bizarre, so improbable, that they defy belief. Errors like die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies smash together without a planchet, leaving ghostly imprints of Roosevelt's profile tangled with the torch and olive branches, or missing clad layers, where the coin's copper-nickel skin peels away like a forbidden secret, exposing the raw copper core beneath, a flaw so rare it's like finding a diamond in a coal mine. These aren't just mistakes, they're anomalies that scream of chaos in the mint's tightly controlled world, where precision is God, and every error is a rebellion against order. Imagine a die crack splitting across Roosevelt's face, a jagged scar that tells a story of metal pushed to its breaking point, or a double-struck coin, where the press hammers the same planchet twice, creating a surreal, overlapping image that's both haunting and mesmerizing, a coin that seems to carry two souls in one body. But why does this matter? Because these errors aren't just curiosities, they're treasures, each one a 1 in a billion chance, with some fetching prices that could make your heart stop, like the 2008 D-dime with a clamshell planchet split that sold for a jaw-dropping $1,050 at auction, or the double die error that fetched $620, its obverse and reverse designs dancing in a ghostly duet, a testament to the mint's rare lapse in perfection. Let's step back to 2008, a year when the world was teetering on the edge of financial collapse, when banks crumbled and trust in institutions wavered. Could it be that the chaos of the era seeped into the mint, that these errors were no accident but a reflection of a fractured time, a silent protest etched in metal? Numismatists have their theories, some wild, some whispered in dark corners of coin shows. Was it a disgruntled mint worker sabotaging the presses, a secret act of defiance? Or perhaps a batch of planchets contaminated with rogue alloys, slipped through the cracks of quality control, creating coins that shouldn't exist? The government, tight-lipped as ever, offers no answers, leaving collectors to piece together the puzzle, their obsession growing with every new discovery, like the 2008 D-dime with a 5% off-center strike. Its design shifted so far to the edge that parts of Roosevelt's face vanish into the void, sold for $635 in 2022, a price that screams rarity, a price that whispers of a coin that was never meant to be. These coins are ghosts, lost treasures that slipped through the mint's fingers, only to resurface years later in the hands of eagle-eyed collectors who live for the thrill of the hunt, people like the anonymous bidder at a 2020 Heritage auction sale who paid $748 for a die clash error, or the eBay collector who snagged an improperly annealed dime for $315, its strange, reddish hue a beacon of its anomaly. But the real question burns brighter with every tale: how many more of these coins are out there, hiding in your change jar, your car's cup holder, or the dusty corners of a pawn shop, waiting to be found? The 2008 D-dime story is a saga of human error, mechanical failure, and the relentless pursuit of rarity, a tale that pulls you in with its promise of hidden wealth and pushes you to question everything you thought you knew about the coins in your pocket. Could the next dime you touch be a fortune in disguise, a relic of a minting mishap that defies all odds? Experts weigh in, their voices trembling with excitement. Numismatic scholars like John Seychow, who catalogued these errors with the precision of a detective, describe the double die as a dramatic overlapping that can fetch hundreds, while others, like the analysts at Coin Value Checker, warn that only uncirculated coins with pristine errors hold the key to true value, a reminder that condition is king in this high-stakes game. Yet, the stories of collectors are what breathe life into this mystery, tales of a grandmother's coin collection, forgotten in an attic, yielding a missing clad layer dime worth $530, or a teenager who found a die adjustment strike error in his lunch money, later auctioned for $515, each story a thread in a tapestry of numismatic obsession, each coin a clue to a larger conspiracy. What if the mint knew about these errors and let them slip into circulation, a secret test of the public's vigilance, or worse, a cover-up to hide a flaw in their system. The more you dig, the deeper the rabbit hole goes. Posts on X buzz with speculation, like one from @Marianoffel claiming a single dime could be worth millions, echoing the legend of the 1873 dime that survived a melt order, setting a record at $3.6 million, a haunting parallel to the 2008 DS's own elusive nature. Every error coin is a story of survival, a defiance of destruction, a coin that should have been melted down, rejected, or lost to time, yet somehow made it into the world, into your hands, waiting for you to notice its imperfections, its beauty, its value. The 2008 D dime is no mere coin, it's a portal to a world of intrigue, where every scratch, every misalignment, every anomaly could be the key to a fortune, reminder that even in the most controlled systems, chaos finds a way, and in that chaos lies treasure, treasure that could be sitting in your pocket right now, waiting for you to look closer, to question, to discover. So, the next time you hold a dime, study it, turn it over, feel its weight, because you might just be holding a piece of history, a piece of mystery, a piece of the 2008 D. Roosevelt dime's legendary legacy, a coin that proves the smallest mistakes can lead to the greatest rewards. Are you ready to find yours?